These are the boundaries of the 10 hides of Sutton. First, where the boundary, which is called Raheya, extends to Cwtla, and from there to Meolc, and along that brook into the Alwerne. From that straight along the stream straight to the east part of Sedge Mead to Broderwulla.
These videos are about tracing old landmarks using old documents, and in this case we have the type maps of the 1840s, and even older we've got anglo-saxon charters going back to the 10th century, over 1,000 years ago. And we've got an extra one here. This is Christian Malford, but I'm using this parish as a jumping off point to return to Langley Borough, which I did on the last episode, and to go and have a look at a meadow as well. I'm going to stop being rude about graduates of Mannish Remainsology after Donna, thank you Donna, a Archaeologian who follows the channel, analysed remotely, admittedly, the pottery that I was picking up last time. Thank you very much. I'm going to be nice from now on, no more taking the mick. And the thing is, I do need a little bit of training. I'm pretty well read. I read everything, I gobble up everything that I can to help me do what I do, and picking up pottery is one of those the table legs of my table of knowledge. But yeah, I need to do a summer course. I've resisted going back to university at this time of life because I've got a body of work behind me. I'm in my 50s, I'm moderately cantankerous. I will spend more time arguing with the professor, and then when I'm not doing that, arguing with all the young wokists around me. And it's obviously just the thousands of pounds I would spend doing it, it would be a total, it wouldn't be a waste of time, but it was, you know, I could spend my time better. But I need to pick up some courses, small courses, weekend courses perhaps, on pottery, flints and so on. But this is a meadow. I don't think this is yet the National Trust meadow that I was looking for, but it is a meadow. We are on meadow land and it is grassland. Meadow is mead away, or mead in Old English. It is related, though not everybody believes it, that studies Old English, really related to meathe, which is to mow, mowing land. And traditionally, in really old times, this hay would be cut 2 or 3 times. Now, because it's so fertile, it's in meadowland, it's right next to a river. All the nutrients flow downhill towards the river and the water. It stays stays fertile into the baking heat of the summer, and it is baking at the moment. So you get 2 or 3 cuts of mowing from it, and you can stack that up high in your homestead yard and feed you won't have to kill your animals during the winter because you will have hay. But of course we don't need to do that anymore. You can grow, thanks to synthetic fertilizers, you can use any land you like to grow hay, but you couldn't in the early Middle Ages. But there seems to be an effort by National Trust and other do-good organisations to conserve meadowland in the traditional way. But the question, it does beg the question, why if we don't need it? The River Avon here, which is the Bristol Avon, it goes out obviously to Bristol, and down there in Roman times there was a settlement next to it called Abona or Abone. So that's what it was called in Romano-British times. Up here in Saxon times, in Christian Malford across the river, it was known as the Arvne. So they'd inherited the Romano-Welsh name for the river. In the Broken Borough Charter, which is a massive 100-hide charter, I think of what was originally a royal estate of some magnitude, some importance. There's an annex to it, which is the Sutton Benger charter I've been using. It's only got 5 or 6 points in it. It calls it the Arvene, but it doesn't in the Langley Borough Charter. It doesn't mention the Avon at all. But what it does mention is a thing called a ya and a yo. And if you remember from some of the videos I've done in Somerset, further down in the southwest, rivers were called yos, and it comes from the Old English air, which they started to pronounce it as yeah, and then became yo and so on. And so we may find it up here in Wiltshire. This may be the furthest east. Certainly, I haven't seen I've seen an air in Gloucestershire, but I haven't seen a yo this far east. Correct me if anybody knows better. So that's an interesting viewpoint on how the river was seen by the people around it. I'm going to go and have a look at the Chissell Brook that I was talking about on the last video. I want to see what it's like further on down as it gets towards the Avon, and that'll be a good opportunity for me to have a look. This does seem to be our National Trust meadow. They're not normally backward in coming forward with their branding, but I can't see a sign anywhere. But yes, it's a perfectly fine meadow. They don't advertise it. I will try and give I should have checked on the tithe map. I have been scouring the tithe maps, as you know from the last video, but I should have looked up what this field was called. I find it unsatisfying that the National Trust have called this the Sutton Lane meadow, because it would have had an older name. They've just picked the nearest road, Sutton Lane, and called it that, and I think that's a bit presumptuous. Their place names obviously have changed, which is why there is such a niche as this for me to do videos on lost landmarks. But yeah, it's been a nice walk so far. So I was very tentative on my last video. I wouldn't nail my colours to the mast, and neither did Grundy, the Oxford professor who did hundreds of Saxon charters, decoded them. Except I'm going to. There's a couple of things that he didn't suss, and I can. One of which is part of the Harden Hewish charter, which is on the other side of Chippenham. I'm not going to go into it on this one, but he didn't spot it, and so small animal. But there's a place next to our stream, the Chissell Brook, up where it's called the Stein Brook. There's a cottage called Meolc, and I sussed out quite quickly, but I wasn't sure. But I sussed out that it was Meolc, which is one translation of which is the spring, the stream of the boundary. And if I was right, that would mean that that stream, which is a boundary today, it's a parish boundary today, is the meadow of the two Saxon charters. Now, what was holding me back? Well, that was confirmed, by the way, by the English Place Name Society. I finally sussed out how to use their online database shortly before some Russian hacker decided to have a go at it. It's now down, but I just got in there before he could do anything. And they come up with the same formula, and I'm really chuffed, which means I've got the same instincts as the professionals. But of course I was essentially trained by them by reading their books. You know, Grundy and Margaret Gelling, F.M. Stenton. So I've got the same methodology because I learnt from them. But anyway, that's beside the point. What we've done is confirm that the Stein Brook, the Chissell Brook, is the meadow of two Saxon charters. But the problem is, the only way I can't make one of them work for all the other boundary landmarks. A few of them I can get, a couple. It's not enough for me to be confident, but the other one, the one of Sutton Benger, I can, but I was really reluctant to say why, is because I've had the position up till now that all of the Saxon charters go clockwise, but it is not solvable as a charter for Sutton itself, Sutton Benger, unless you go anti-clockwise. If you go anti-clockwise, it just slots into place immediately, but I wouldn't let go of what I believed was right, and it isn't right. So my position is stronger than it was just a couple of days ago. I think I can demonstrate Sutton Benger's charter, which is pretty exciting because I don't think anybody else has.